Monkey see, monkey do. Social creatures, through and through. Now, monkey me and monkey you, well, we've grown a lot since flinging poo. We smartened up and built some tools, got organized and made some rules, did plenty to excel the species, yet never learned to drop the feces. And now we're in a backwards motion. We cannot shake internal notions. We thrive and drive on what we feel. And we disconnect with what is real. We don't converse, instead we fight. But many do. Must be right. See, we tend to copy what we view, both monkey me and monkey you, and there's downsides to some social features, for we are not such perfect creatures. And if we follow the mistaken, well, we'll leave this world completely shaken, succumbing to a societal seizure in this world of lush and leisure. Because what doesn't fit what we believe, many choose to misconceive, and growing numbers make that seem okay, accelerating this decay. Because we all want to fit in, we hate to lose and love to win. But we can't dismiss and distort the things in life that cause discomfort, because rationalizing these mere distractions just normalizes toxic actions. And we can't just take the easy path, not thinking of the aftermath. No matter how it makes us feel, we must connect with what is real. And sometimes the truth is hard to swallow, but if we choose to only follow, none of this will go away. We have to think, not just obey. And this is not some hidden mystery. There is plenty wisdom in our history. We know how ugly we can be when monkey do and monkey see. The things that we have justified, from slavery to genocide or burning witches at the stakes. We mustn't simply just partake just because the others do. It's time for us to drop the poo. And if you claim this isn't you, well, now is your chance to prove that it's true. Something easier said than done. Because being wrong just isn't fun. But there is strength in that admission, which only betters our own positions, because when we change what is wrong to right, we only grow our own brain's might. But rather than growth bringing pride, shame kicks in and many hide. And even though it makes us strong, well, we just can't bear to say we're wrong. Like addicts are to nicotine, we need that hit of dopamine, and to be right is to feel good in a world misunderstood. So focused on our here and now, the future's fate we disavow, and some choose to exploit these flaws, turned on by lore that money draws. Happy to promise us a lie and selling anything we'll buy. Too many don't ask how or why, as long as they feel satisfied. So facts and reality, they start to fade as the masses are persuade with cunning minds at the reins, tapping into other brains to make them feel they must obtain whatever grows financial gains with methods built to maximize the sales of cars and phones and fries. Our human psyches picked apart with such precision like an art, ever driving more demand. And we comply with those commands. Assembly lines, they crank amounts to grow a couple bank accounts, which grow and grow up to excess, and that's how they measure their success. A small few with all this power as the masses sit and cower. Systems now so repetitious, but I don't think it's all malicious. See, many suffer these effects. I think this problem's more complex, because round the sun, we are all revolving, just as monkeys still evolving. We are learning to use the tools we've made, and one was money replacing trade. See, money is exactly that. It's a tool that grew our habitat, but now it's gotten out of hand, and things aren't going as we planned, because what once gave us simpler lives is now completely compromised by modern systems put in place, which have changed its interface in a way that is not so healthy. Decisions made favor the wealthy, and the wealthy, they are monkeys too. So am I, so are you. They just want that dopamine, and when they do, they flash some green, and if you've got the means to pay, well, anything can go your way, which only feeds your own beliefs and makes you feel success is reached. So then they get another hit. Once they start, they just can't quit, so they react to what feels good, forgetting others' livelihoods. Caught in this world that most are not, so much of life it's just forgot. The suffering of all mankind is out of sight and out of mind. Collecting this tool of tremendous powers, forgetting who sleeps outside their towers, hungry, sick, out on the streets, without a home or food to eat. These human beings left to rot are filling up their parking lots, which leave the rich annoyed and stressed as the poor get more depressed. And the poor just want to get away from a life so sad and gray. These victims of our systems broken pick up drugs and they start smoking, or others turn to alcohol, attempting to escape it all. Anything to ease the pain as dopamine flows through their brains, ever driving more desire until they're hooked and their brains rewire and they become a different person. As this cycle ever worsens, so they succumb to their addiction, being blamed for self-infliction. Issues many can't prevail through. Life for some just loses value, and the ones of which you overcome, to disrespect they are succumb. With slogans yelled out by the dumb, just get a job, you lazy bum, looked down upon with such disgrace. This problem just picks up the pace, and though it's one not easily solved, the people with power don't get involved, because we often just choose not to see that we look out for me, and we don't like the way that sounds. So we invent some workarounds. We're also quick to point and blame to stop ourselves from feeling shame. Our self-image so imperative that we decide to shape the narrative in any way that'll make us right. Any excuse to cause delight. Facts become this oversight in this false reality that we write, which just feeds the ego's appetite, prompting many to incite excuses not to expedite, using their tools of strength and might. So they decide not to impede, ever feeding their own greed. This take, and more. Survival of the fittest is at the core, and in their eyes, something's working, so they go on, no conscious lurking in what once was important in us all surviving, and drove these creatures to keep on thriving, might lead us to our own demise without some kind of compromise, because you can't show responsibility ignoring your own tools' capability. And just as Uncle Ben has pleaded, with great power, that is needed. If you want to live the American dream, well, money is power that reigns supreme, but money is more than just aesthetic, with such potential left kinetic. And if we leave these tools to rust, we've got a system bound to bust. And all the lives they could affect, choosing to use and not collect. Because if they chose to help restore, well, they'd value life a whole lot more. And aiding these problems at ground zero, they could become a superhero. Here on Earth, not fantasized, a public figure idolized. And even when they're dead and gone, their legacy will carry on. An afterlife you can't deny, because you helped to unify a world that's full of clear divide due to these systems gone awry. But you're the one who helped to fix by catching all these dirty tricks that are involved in politics, and didn't just join in the mix, because you knew there's more to life than this, and value is gone in the abyss, which is what we're headed for, fate just like the dinosaurs. But we are monkeys, we are strong, and when monkeys learn to get along, even through the gloomy glum, well, they smarten up and they overcome. Ice ages and famine too, they were pretty smart for flinging poo. They just kept growing comprehension, which only led to more invention, helping them to persevere and led them on their own frontier, one that someday led to us. But unlike them, we're losing trust. And now, we're also pinned apart. Emotion levels off the charts. We do as we feel, not what is smart. Yes, you and yes, me. We all play a part. And the actions of both you and me are what make up society. And since we're such a social being, affected by just what we're seeing, examples set hold quite some weight. As many yell and don't debate, but kindness too can also spread and help to fight against this dread. So be the one who breaks the mold and use the powers that you hold. Raise up your voice and make it bold to help to shape what might unfold. We mustn't yell. We must discuss. Our future's fate, it's up to us. And if we all want to succeed, emotions cannot take the lead. They shape the way we interact, and they skew the way we take in facts. And though we can't trust all that we're told, in a world that is bought and sold, I know we're in for brighter weather when we learn to stand together. Because apes were selfish, but came to find that there is strength in numbers with brains combined. See, single thoughts were not confined as good ideas were intertwined, setting forth a whole new notion, putting rapid growth in motion. Words, tools, community, the things passed down to you and me, this only happened because they shared. And you see, the organized are more prepared, which made them even stronger yet. That's something that we can't forget. And to overcome our toughest times, we need the strength of all our minds, thinking minds, not ones distraught, to overcome these juggernauts. And the biggest ones, they are at our door, and these are things we can't ignore, because problems came we didn't see when tools became technology. The printing press to human flight, now LEDs from candlelight. Tech that brought us to new heights, a future that seemed truly bright. But can this progress always last? Because through the light, their shadows cast. And now we face a whole new threat that started with the internet, which overall is something great and something we should celebrate. But since it's made its debut, we've learned to fling emoji poo. It's like a virus that we're all infected. In this world that's so connected, everything just spreads so fast to viewers so diverse and vast, with views that reach from love to hate and equal space to spark debate. It's brought us to a whole new age where Alex Jones can take the stage, propagating fear and rage to earn himself a healthy wage. Feeding off of all our fears financially, he perseveres. Then monkey see and monkey do as Fox Broadcasting caught a view. Replicating his design after seeing dollar signs, not caring what it might derail, 'cause now there's something new for sale. Anything you want to hear, they'll kindly whisper in your ear, so long as you just stay tuned in. Financially, that is a win. Setting forth a paradigm that what's for sale now is our time, a currency we can't get back. As feelings draw us more than fact, so nonsense is now getting spewed, 'cause nonsense is now getting viewed. And even if our values fade, well, that is how the bills get paid. And so the cycle just repeats, giving more to the elite to grow more power to stop change. In a system so deranged, what feels just like a feedback loop, a very stinky form of poop, a kind we really gotta drop and make all of this nonsense stop, because now it's moved to cyberspace where all things spread at breakneck pace, which grows the rate of bad ideas. Now solid poos are diarrheas being flung from all directions, and with too much, there's no deflection. This crap will affect our lives, mothers, fathers, husbands, wives, the young, the old, the rich, the poor, unless the masses say no more. But that is tough in modern times as advertisers shape our minds, and at election time they take the wheel to shape how voters think and feel. Our free choice completely breached on a scale that's yet been reached through platforms that demand our time, designed with that intent in mind. And they calculate just what to feed you to keep us drawn to social media. And they know just what to inject with all our data they collect. With knowledge of our human flaws, we're fed what our attention draws. They just induce some dopamine to keep our faces in our screens, and boy, they've done that very well. So many of us in their spell, they monetize on human bias, and many facts they do deny us just so we won't look away, because our attention grows their pay. And boy, has Facebook won the lotto with that ugly business motto. As they keep collecting views, they may win, but we all lose, even spouting out fake news just to grow their revenues with titles that entice more clicks or thumbnails of half-naked chicks. If it gets clicks and starts some chatter, content doesn't really matter. So as they capture us civilians on a scale that is in the billions and feed us falsehoods for their gains, they chip away at all of our brains. These methods used to advertise have lodged themselves within our minds, and many just cannot admit that they've been struck by flying shit. Look, I know that may provoke some irks, but advertising really works. Just look at all the money spent and all the effort underwent. It isn't just a stroke of luck. Those methods tend to grow a buck, but beyond products, they expand to sell ideas through propaganda. And as they shape what's in our heads, well, that is how this virus spreads, because money has power to shape thought in a world that can be bought. And these are methods that they use to help to shape the people's views. And if enough of us comply, well, those numbers tend to multiply. It's been said before, and it's still true. Monkey see, monkey do. It's just part of our DNA, but wasn't formed in present day. Was put there to help us all thrive and keep our ancestors alive. But that was in our hunting stage, and now we've reached the modern age. So now we have to rise above, drop the poop, and spread some love. And these problems, I know, can be solved with a people more evolved. So to that, I think we must strive if we want our species to survive, because so much change has happened fast. And if we want it all to last, then we must learn to drop the feces and grow into a stronger species, one who knows to say we are wrong, because that is how a brain gets strong. And unless we want speech unamended, then we all must learn to be offended. If we don't like what people say, then we can simply turn away. And we can't just follow someone else. We have got to learn to be ourselves. I think we need to start a movement, one that preaches self-improvement, and that is where we can begin. Start standing out, stop fitting in. And the ones of which who truly grow should be the ones who steal the show. We've got to learn to look away from the things that cause decay. And this goes for corporations too, because they're the biggest source of poo. And if they just cannot let go, it's time for someone else to grow. And that is how all of this can change. It's time for us to rearrange and bring the best straight to the top and lose the ones who cannot drop that poo in hand they want to fling. Because what's at stake is everything. We have got to catch what has been flung and rid ourselves of all this dung. And science now has caught a glimpse that the Stone Age has been reached by chimps. If chimps can grow, then we can too. We must believe that that is true. The evolution of humankind largely takes shape within the mind. It's more than physical exteriors, but we need systems far superior, because this squishy brain is quite complex and our environment has effects. But we monkeys have more tools than ever that can shape future endeavors. So now we've got to organize, know the facts, and analyze. We cannot do this if we fight. We need our brains to all unite. I think we know what we must do to be the ones to drop the poo. It is time for Monkey, you and me, to gather up all of our XP. Let's take that in and then review and reach humanity level 2. Peace.